Liam was not a soldier. He was not a leader. He was just an engineer. His job was to fix power systems, clean air filters, and sometimes stop coffee machines from exploding on the ship Harmony Wind. He didn't expect to be part of any historic moment, but sometimes history doesn't wait for permission. That day started like any other. The crew received orders to dock near the Villari flagship. The Villari were an ancient alien race known for their powerful minds and serious culture. They had ruled their part of the galaxy for thousands of years. But now, for the first time, they were talking to humans. A peace meeting was planned. It would be broadcast to all ships in the sector. Liam wasn't even supposed to be in the room. He was only there because he was fixing the comm panel. But then someone called in sick, and suddenly Liam was the only one who could work the translator system. He sat in the back, quiet and nervous, as the meeting began. On one side of the large screen were Earth's top diplomats. On the other side stood the Villari delegation. At the center of them was a tall alien woman with silver eyes, long dark robes, and glowing marks across her forehead. Her name was Runa, and she was the High Matron of the Villari. Her voice was calm but strong. "We welcome Earth," she said. "We seek to understand your kind. If peace is to grow, we must learn to bond." Everyone clapped politely. One of the Earth diplomats smiled and said, "We are honored to be here. We hope this is the beginning of a deep friendship." Liam yawned. Quietly, the meeting had been going on for 2 hours. Talks about trade, language, shared patrols. It was all important, but it was also very slow. Then something strange happened. Runa looked directly at the camera and said, "On Villari, bonding is sacred. When two minds connect, we share trust, pain, and future. Among our people, such bonding often begins with a simple promise." Liam, half asleep and bored out of his mind, muttered under his breath, "What? Like a marriage proposal?" The translator system picked up his voice and broadcast it across the galaxy. To the Villari High Matron. The room went silent. Liam froze. His heart dropped into his stomach. "Oh no," he whispered. Runa blinked once. She tilted her head slowly, studying the screen. Her silver eyes glowed a little brighter. "You," she said. "Human male at the back. Stand." Liam stood. He felt like his knees were made of paper. Hi. You made a promise. Did you not?" she asked, voice still calm. "No. I mean, it was a joke." Liam waved his hands. "A stupid joke. I didn't mean." Runa's expression didn't change. In Villari culture, words spoken during an official bond ceremony are taken with full meaning. Even in humor, truth may hide. Liam looked at the others. No one said anything. One of the diplomats slowly slid behind a chair. Runa stepped closer to the camera. "Then I ask you, Liam of Earth, do you stand by your words?" He stared at her. "I said, what? Like a marriage proposal?" It wasn't serious. She paused. Then, to the shock of every human and alien watching, she smiled. "Then you must be my husband." The entire room exploded in noise. People shouted into headsets. Translators glitched. Alarms beeped from side panels. Liam's head was spinning. Was this real? He leaned toward the mic. "Wait, what? Are you serious?" Runa nodded gently. "By your voice, you have declared intent, and I have accepted. Earth and Villari will bond, as will you and I." One of the human diplomats whispered to another, "Can we cancel this?" "No." The other replied, "This is being broadcast live across 6 systems." Hours later, Liam sat alone in the ship's mess hall, staring into a cup of cold tea. His best friend on the ship, a medic named Dina, sat across from him. She tried not to laugh. "So let me get this straight," she said, holding back a grin. "You made a joke, and now you're engaged to the most powerful alien woman in the sector?" Liam buried his face in his hands. "Please don't say it out loud." Dina chuckled. "I mean, it could be worse. She's not bad looking for an alien. She's 8 feet tall and could probably break me in half with her mind." Liam groaned. "Still." Dina said, "The crew likes you more. Now, you're kind of a legend." "I don't want to be a legend," Liam said. "I want to go back to fixing pipes." But deep down, he knew something had changed. His words, careless and silly, had sparked something no human had ever done. He hadn't just made history. He had become a part of it, and somewhere far above Earth. On a glowing ship of crystal and light, Runa sat in silence, watching the stars. Her advisors spoke in hushed tones, warning her of the risks, but she raised her hand. "There is something in him," she said softly, "something honest." She looked down at the image of Liam frozen on a screen, his face surprised, awkward, and very human. And for the first time in many years, Runa laughed. Liam did not sleep that night. He lay on his small bunk in the engineering bay of Harmony Wind, staring at the ceiling, heart still racing. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Runa's face, the silver-eyed alien leader who called him her husband in front of half the galaxy. It was just a joke, he thought again and again. Why did she take it seriously? But this wasn't Earth, and the Villari weren't humans. By morning, things had gone from strange to chaotic. The captain of Harmony Wind, a serious man named Marshall Rake, called Liam into the briefing room. The entire senior crew was there, along with a live feed from Earth Command. Liam stood awkwardly at the center, feeling like he'd walked into a courtroom. "Liam," the captain said, rubbing his forehead, "we have a situation." "I know," Liam said softly. "Believe me, I know." A woman's voice came from the screen. It was Director Halden, one of Earth's top officials for alien relations. "You've unintentionally triggered a bond proposal under Villari law," she explained. "We confirmed it with their translators. It's real." The High Matron officially accepted. Liam looked around. "Can't we just explain it was a joke?" Halden shook her head. "No. In Villari culture, jokes spoken during formal peace talks are treated as deeper truths. They believe humor reveals a person's soul. Rejecting her now could insult the entire Villari government. So, what? I have to marry her?" Liam asked, voice rising. "For now," Halden said. "We need you to go along with it just until we find a way to settle things, without causing an interstellar problem." Liam blinked. "You want me to pretend to marry an alien?" Rake folded his arms. "You're going to the Villari capital, Liam, in 2 days." Liam's legs almost gave out. Later that day, Liam sat with Dina in the ship's small garden room. It wasn't big, just a few plants growing under special lights, but it was quiet. "I can't believe this," he muttered. Dina handed him a cup of warm tea. "So, what's the plan?" "I don't have a plan," Liam said. "I'm being sent to a giant alien city to be part of the ceremonial bond with someone I don't know. I fix wires. I'm not built for this." Dina smiled kindly. "Maybe that's why she chose you." He frowned. "What do you mean? She's a queen or something, right? Surrounded by people who lie, pretend, and bow all day long. You made a dumb joke and told the truth by accident. Maybe she likes that." Liam looked at the tea. "That's kind of scary." 2 days later, a silver transport arrived from the Villari ship. Liam stood on the docking platform, wearing a cleaned-up version of his engineer's uniform. No armor, no medals, just a plain dark blue suit with Earth's patch on the shoulder. Runa stood at the ramp. She was taller than he remembered. Her skin was pale with a soft shimmer, her robes flowing like smoke, and her silver eyes calm as a lake. Around her, silent guards in elegant armor watched everything. Liam tried not to panic. Runa spoke first. "Are you ready, Liam of Earth?" He cleared his throat. "Not really, no." A pause. Then surprisingly she smiled. "Honesty is rare. I value it." He stepped into the ship. The Villari capital was unlike anything Liam had ever seen. It floated above a vast canyon, built from glowing stones and clear towers that reached into the sky like crystal trees. There were no roads, only platforms that moved on beams of light, carrying people through the air. Everything was silent, peaceful, and full of color. Liam felt like he had stepped into a dream. He was given a guest room in one of the floating towers. It wasn't a prison, it was luxurious, with soft beds, clear walls that shifted between solid and transparent, and a view of 1,000 lights across the city. But still, guards waited outside. He wasn't a prisoner, exactly, but he wasn't free either. That evening, Runa invited him to her private hall. Liam walked through the glowing doors, feeling completely out of place. She sat at a large table filled with strange, colorful foods. "Sit," she said gently. He sat. For a while, they didn't speak. The only sound was the soft hum of the energy crystals above. Finally, Liam asked, "Why did you say yes to the joke?" Runa looked at him for a long moment. Then she answered, "I have met thousands of leaders." She said, "All speak with perfect words. None show weakness, none show truth. But you laughed. You made a mistake. You were human." Liam blinked. "You accepted me as your husband because I made a mistake?" "No," she said, "because you were not afraid to be seen." They sat in silence again. Liam didn't know what to say. The room felt warm, not in temperature, but in feeling. "You can leave after the ceremony," Aruna said. "Our people will not be insulted if you go. But if you choose to stay," she paused, "then you may become something more than a joke." Liam didn't answer right away, but for the first time since it all began, he felt calm. Later, lying in his strange new bed, Liam stared out at the stars beyond the clear walls. Maybe this was all a huge mistake. Maybe it was a path he didn't ask for. But something inside him whispered, this might be the most important thing you ever do. And far away, in her chamber, Aruna stood alone, watching the same stars. She closed her eyes and whispered softly, "Let the bond begin." Liam woke up to soft music playing in his room. It wasn't like any music he had heard before, more like a mix of wind, water, and bells. The light outside his window had changed. The Valari sun was rising, casting golden beams through the crystal towers. Today was the day of the bond ceremony. He sat up slowly, rubbing his eyes. The bed was too soft, the air too clean, and everything smelled like flowers he couldn't name. He missed the sound of broken wires sparking in the Harmony Wind's engine room. He missed grease on his hands. He missed normal. A soft knock came from the wall. There were no doors here. The wall shimmered, and a Valari woman entered. She had soft blue skin, short hair made of silver threads, and wore a flowing robe. Her name was Liran, Aruna's chief advisor. "Liam of Earth," she said, bowing slightly, "the High Matron invites you to the Chamber of Memory." "Is that where the wedding happens?" he asked, standing up. Liran tilted her head. "Not quite. The chamber is where your soul is tested. The bond ceremony cannot begin unless you pass." Liam blinked. "Tested? Nobody told me anything about a test." Liran smiled kindly. "The Valari do not bond with bodies. We bond with truth. You must face yourself before you face each other." That didn't make Liam feel any better. He followed her through the glowing halls of the tower. Everywhere he looked, Valari floated past on platforms, moved in perfect lines, and spoke in calm, musical tones. They all looked at Liam with quiet curiosity, but not anger or fear, just interest. Finally, they reached a large door that looked like glass but shimmered like water. Two guards opened it without touching it. Inside was a wide round chamber with a glowing platform in the center. Runa stood waiting, hands folded. Liam stepped forward, trying not to trip. "You came," she said softly. "I'm still not sure why," he replied. "But I'm here." She looked into his eyes. "The trial of reflection will begin soon. You will see memories, fears, and things you tried to hide. You cannot lie in this place." He gulped. "And if I fail, then the bond is broken, and you will return to Earth unharmed." Liam took a breath. "Okay, let's get this over with." Aruna nodded once. "Step into the light." The platform lit up under his feet. A soft sound filled the room, like whispering voices. Liam's eyes grew heavy. The room spun, and then he was no longer there. He stood in a gray space, empty, silent. Then, suddenly, he was back in the Harmony Wind's engine room. But it was different. The lights were flickering. Smoke filled the air. He heard shouting, "Liam, the reactor's failing." It was a memory, a real one. He saw himself, younger, hands shaking, trying to repair a power core. Another crew member lay injured beside him. Liam remembered this moment well. He had saved the ship but not the crewman. "I should have acted faster," he said aloud. You were afraid, said a voice behind him. He turned. Runa stood there, though not truly. She was part of the vision. I froze, Liam said. He died because I was too slow. You were human, she replied. The scene changed. Now he was back on Earth, standing in front of his parents' old house. His father sat on the porch, silent and angry. Young Liam stood nearby, crying. I told you you'd never be anything, his father said in a voice like ice. You're just a mistake. Liam's jaw clenched. He was wrong. Yet his words still live in you, said Runa. Liam looked at the sky. I left Earth to prove him wrong. To prove I could be something. Runa's voice softened. You do not have to prove anything. You only have to be true. The final vision came. Liam stood on the Velari ship, back in the moment he made the joke. Everyone laughed now. The crew. The aliens, even Runa. You're a fool, someone said. You? Embarrass Earth. You're not a hero. Just a joke. Liam stood silently. Then he said, maybe I'm a joke. But at least I was being myself. No tricks. No lies. The vision faded. He opened his eyes. He was back in the chamber, still standing on the glowing platform. Runa stood at the edge, watching him carefully. You faced your truths, she said. You passed. Liam stepped down. That was the strangest experience of my life. She gave him a rare smile. It is often so. They walked in silence down the hall. For once, Liam felt like he wasn't being dragged by events. He had seen his past, his pain, and was still standing. Later that day, Liam was given new robes, simple white cloth with a silver belt. Runa wore robes of deep blue, decorated with silver stars. They stood side by side on a floating platform as the ceremony began. Thousands of Velari watched in silence from the air. Lights floated around them like stars. An elder stepped forward. Speak your truth, he said. Runa turned to Liam. I am Runa, daughter of the stars, keeper of the mind stream. One chooses this human not because he is perfect, but because he is honest. She looked into his eyes. Liam, do you accept the bond of truth? He swallowed, then nodded. I do. The elder raised his hands. A beam of light surrounded them both. The bond was sealed, but it was more than a promise. For one brief second, Liam saw her thoughts, her loneliness, her pressure, her power, and she saw his fear, his courage, his strange, beating heart. And somehow, they understood each other. That night, back in his room, Liam looked out at the Velari city. He had come here by accident, a joke. But now, it didn't feel like a mistake. Maybe, just maybe, it was fate. 2 days after the bond ceremony, Liam was still trying to understand what had really happened. Every Velari he passed bowed their head to him with respect. Some even called him Bonded One, as if he were royalty now. He didn't feel royal. He still felt like an engineer pretending to be part of a dream. In truth, everything had gone so fast. His joke, the trial, the ceremony, that he didn't know what came next. And then Runa told him, there's one more step, she said calmly, as they walked through a garden of glowing plants. Before the bond is fully accepted by the council, you must complete the rite of challenge. Liam raised an eyebrow. Another test? Yes, she said, but this one is not about memory. It is about courage. Liam sighed. I already passed a mind trial. What else do you want me to do? Fight a dragon? She didn't laugh. Not a dragon. Something more dangerous. Truth in action. The next day, Liam was taken to a ship. It was small, round, and made of smooth black metal. The pilot was a silent Velari named Tharn. Runa stood at the platform and gave Liam a final nod before he left. The rite of challenge will take you to a moon called Viewership 5, she explained. It is empty, except for the testing ground. Testing ground? Liam asked. There, you will face 3 trials, she continued. One of strength, one of judgment, and one of trust. If you fail any of them, the bond is void. And if I pass, he asked, then no Velari shall ever question your place beside me. The ship flew fast. Within hours, Liam landed on Viewership 5. The sky was gray. The air was thin but breathable. Strange glowing rocks lined the ground like stars. had fallen from the sky. A voice echoed in his ears, calm and steady. It was the test guide, not a person but an artificial voice created by the Velari. Step forward. Liam of Earth, your first trial begins now. Liam walked toward a glowing circle. The moment he entered, a wall of fire burst up around him. The heat didn't burn, but it made his heart race. From the ground rose a figure tall, strong, and silent. It was made of stone and energy, a training construct, trial of strength. Overcome the opponent. Do not run. Do not quit. Liam had never been in a real fight. His training on the ship involved fixing wires and dodging falling tools, not fighting alien statues. The stone warrior charged. Liam ducked, barely avoiding a heavy swing. He rolled to the side and grabbed a metal staff lying nearby. It wasn't sharp, but it was something. The fight was not easy. He was hit twice, thrown once, and nearly crushed. But Liam didn't stop. He used his speed, his brain, and a bit of luck. Finally, he struck the back of the warrior's neck with the staff, and the creature froze. Then it crumbled into dust. The fire vanished. Trial of strength passed. Liam collapsed to his knees, breathing hard. This is crazy. After a short rest, he moved into the second circle. This time, he stood in front of a large screen. 3 images appeared: a child, a soldier, and a sick elder. A voice spoke. Trial of judgment. Only one can be saved. Choose. Liam froze. What? The child will bring peace in the future. The soldier will protect many. The elder holds secret knowledge that can stop war. 1 lives, 2 are lost. Liam shook his head. That's not fair. Life is not fair. Choose. He closed his eyes. His heart hurt. Every choice felt wrong. He saw the child's innocent face, the soldier's tired eyes, the elder's wisdom. Then he looked again and understood. No. Liam said, explain. I won't choose. You said judgment. My judgment says this test is a trap. You want me to pick who's more valuable. But life isn't about value. It's about hope. He stepped forward. I won't play your game. Silence. Then the screen disappeared. Trial of judgment passed. Liam let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. He felt a little lighter. The third trial was quiet. No lights, no fire, no screen. Just a long path through glowing rocks. Liam walked carefully until he saw a woman standing at the edge of a cliff. She wore a hood. When she turned, he saw Runa's face. But something was wrong. Her eyes were sad. Liam, she said softly, I must return to my people. I cannot stay with you. He stepped closer. What do you mean? You are not one of us. This was a mistake. Let go of the bond. His chest tightened. Is this part of the test? I ask you, she said again. Will you let go? He stood still. Everything inside him told him this couldn't be real. It felt like a dream, a trick, and yet her voice sounded real. Liam looked into her eyes. No, he said firmly, even if you walk away, I will not give up. Not without trying. I didn't choose this bond. But now that it's mine, I'll protect it. The image of Runa vanished into light. Trial of trust passed. Liam stood at the center of the moon, bruised, tired, and a little dizzy. A beam of light shot into the sky. Moments later, a voice echoed around him. All trials completed. The bond is true. When he returned to the capital, Runa was waiting. He expected her to greet him with cold formality. Instead, she stepped forward and placed a hand on his shoulder. You passed. He smiled. Barely. No, she said. You passed because you are human. You fight not with power but with heart. Liam looked out over the glowing city. He didn't feel like a guest anymore. He felt like he belonged. Days had passed. Since Liam returned from the rite of challenge, the Velari capital had not changed, but Liam had. He walked through the floating gardens and crystal halls with a quiet confidence that surprised even him. His mind still replayed the trials, the fire, the judgment, and the vision of Runa asking him to let go. Each test had shown him something new about himself, about courage, and about what it meant to be human. One morning, Liam found himself invited to a meeting with Runa in the Hall of Stars. It was a large, round room with walls that shimmered like liquid silver. The ceiling opened to the sky, where distant stars twinkled like diamonds. Aruna sat calmly in the center, her silver eyes focused on Liam. "You have passed the rite of challenge," she said softly. "Your courage is unlike any I have seen in the Villari. But there is one thing we must discuss." Liam nodded. "What is it?" She smiled slightly. "Your people are still unknown to many. Some Villari leaders doubt the bond. They worry Earth's humans are too wild, too unpredictable." Liam frowned. "They think we're dangerous, in a way," Aruna said. "But perhaps that is our strength. I want to show them what humans can do. What you can do." Liam felt a flicker of pride, mixed with fear. "How?" Aruna stood in motion for Liam to follow. They walked through winding corridors until they reached a training hall, filled with strange devices and weapons. "This is where Villari warriors train," she explained. "I want you to show our people how your human spirit can shine. But first, you must learn to fight." Liam's eyes widened. "Fight? I'm an engineer, not a soldier." Runa chuckled softly. "Sometimes, to protect those we love, we must learn new skills." The next weeks were hard. Liam trained daily with Villari instructors, learning how to move, how to defend himself, and how to use energy weapons. His muscles ached in ways he never knew possible, but his determination was stronger than his pain. One instructor, a stern Villari named Talon, was especially strict. "You must move like the wind, strike like the storm," Talon told him during a sparring match. Liam dodged a quick strike and countered. "Like this?" Talon nodded. "Better. But your heart is still soft. You need fire." Liam smiled. "I'll find it." One evening, after training, Liam sat alone on a balcony overlooking the glowing city. The sky was dark, but stars filled every corner. Runa joined him quietly. "You have changed," she said. "You carry your fears openly, yet you do not let them control you." Liam sighed. "It's hard. I'm still scared of failing, of losing, of what comes next." Runa placed a gentle hand on his arm. "Fear is natural. It is what we do with fear that defines us." Liam looked at her. "What? If I'm not ready, you are ready," she said firmly. "Because you try, because you do not give up." Days later, news came that the Villari Council would hold a great assembly. They would meet to discuss Earth's place in the galaxy and Liam's bond with Runa. Many Villari leaders were skeptical. Some whispered that humans could not be trusted. Liam knew this was his chance. He asked Aruna, "Can I speak to the council? Show them who I really am?" She nodded. "You will speak with truth." The day of the assembly arrived. Liam stood before a crowd of the galaxy's most powerful leaders. The chamber was massive, with floating lights and echoes that made his voice sound louder than he expected. He took a deep breath and began. "I'm Liam, an engineer from Earth. I did not plan to be here. I made a joke, and that joke changed everything." He looked around, meeting many cold eyes. "But I am not a perfect man. I have fears, I have doubts. I have failed, but I have never stopped trying, and I believe that is what makes humans special." He spoke of Earth's struggles, its beauty, and its hope for peace. "Humans are not perfect, but we have heart, we have courage, and when we bond, we give everything to protect those we care about." The room grew silent. After his speech, Runa stood and said, "Liam's bond with me is real. It is built on honesty and courage. Let his spirit remind us all that sometimes strength comes not from power but from the will to stand when others fall." The council murmured among themselves. Some nodded, others remained quiet, but Liam felt something new, a sense of respect. That night, Liam and Runa walked through the city. "You changed many minds today," she said softly. He smiled. "I only told the truth." Runa looked at him with warmth. "And that truth shines brighter than any star." Liam realized that his journey was only beginning. But now, he was not alone. He was bonded to Runa, to the Villari, and to a future he had never imagined. The day of the final ceremony arrived quietly in the Villari capital. The floating city glowed softly beneath the twin suns, casting long shadows on the crystal towers. The air was calm, almost reverent, as the people prepared to witness the bond between Liam and Runa become official. Liam stood in a simple white robe that shimmered faintly with threads of silver. The fabric felt strange on his skin, so smooth, so different from the rough clothes he was used to wearing. He glanced around the large hall, filled with Velari, dignitaries and guests from distant worlds. The walls sparkled with energy, and hovering lights drifted gently like fireflies. He swallowed hard. This was no longer a joke, no longer a misunderstanding. It was real. Runa entered the hall, moving with the calm grace of a queen. Her robes were deep blue, studded with tiny points of light that looked like stars. Against the night sky, her silver eyes found Liam's. Immediately, and she gave a small, encouraging smile. Liam took a deep breath and stepped forward. The ceremony was unlike any wedding Liam had seen or imagined. There were no flowers or music in the way humans knew. Instead, the Velari performed a sacred ritual called the Mindweave. It was a joining of thoughts and memories, a bond of truth and trust. An elder Velari began to chant softly in a language Liam could not understand. The room filled with shimmering light that pulsed gently, touching Liam and Runa both. Liam felt a warmth spread through him, and energy that made his skin tingle and his heart beat faster. Then, suddenly, he saw it not with his eyes, but in his mind. He was inside Runa's memories. He saw her childhood among the crystal forests of Velaria, playing with siblings under glowing skies. He felt her joy, her fear, her loneliness as the High Matron who carried the burden of her people's future. Then the scene shifted. He saw battles fought with shimmering weapons, allies lost, and the heavy weight of leadership pressing on her shoulders. Tears pricked his eyes. He had never seen this side of her before. Then the vision changed again. Now Runa saw through Liam's eyes. She walked through Earth's crowded cities, smelled rain on dusty streets, and heard laughter in small homes. She felt his struggles, the times he had failed, the moments he had feared losing everything. But she also felt his hope, his determination to keep moving forward. As the Mindweave deepened, Liam and Runa experienced each other fully. The thoughts, feelings, and memories mixed like two rivers joining into one. It was a powerful, beautiful moment. When the light finally faded, Liam opened his eyes. The room was silent. Runa's voice was soft but clear. "This bond is more than ceremony," she said. "It is understanding. We do not marry for love as humans do, but for connection." Liam nodded slowly. He looked around at the faces of the Velari, who now regarded him not as a joke or outsider, but as one of their own. He felt proud, but also humble. He had entered a world far beyond his own, and it had changed him. After the ceremony, Runa took Liam's hand and led him to a quiet balcony overlooking the city. The twin suns were setting, painting the sky with colors Liam had never seen: deep purples, bright oranges, and shimmering gold. He turned to her. "Thank you," he said simply, "for everything." She smiled. "You did this yourself, Liam. Your courage and honesty brought us here." He laughed softly. "I still can't believe this started with a joke." She looked at him with warmth in her eyes. Sometimes, the smallest words carry the greatest meaning. That night, in his new quarters, Liam lay awake, thinking about the journey he had taken. He was no longer just a man from Earth. He was bonded to a people he barely understood, to a woman he respected deeply, and to a future that was uncertain but hopeful. And even though the road ahead was unknown, Liam felt ready, because now he was not alone. The days after the bond ceremony passed quickly. Liam felt the weight of his new role, but also a strange peace he had never known before. The Velari no longer saw him as just an outsider. He was part of their world now. But with this new place came new challenges. Earth and the Velari were still cautious allies. Many humans did not understand the bond. Some even called Liam a fool for marrying an alien they barely knew. Still, Liam knew this bond was more than a title. It was a bridge between two very different worlds. One morning, Liam stood on the balcony of the High Matron's tower. The view was breathtaking, a sea of crystal light stretching to the horizon. He held a small device in his hand, a communicator from Earth. The message was clear: A nearby star system was in danger. A rogue fleet threatened innocent colonies. Earth and Velari ships were preparing for battle. Liam's heart pounded. This was his moment. Runa appeared beside him, calm and steady. "We must stand together," she said. "Our bond is not just for ceremony, it is for action." Liam nodded. "Then let's show them what we can do together." In the command room, Liam met with the fleet leaders. He wasn't a soldier, but his years as an engineer gave him insight. He helped plan the defense, suggesting strategies that surprised even the Velari commanders. When the battle began, Liam was on the front lines not with weapons, but guiding teams to keep the ships running. His quick thinking saved many lives. During the fight, Runa led her warriors with strength and wisdom. Liam saw her courage and knew why the Velari followed her. At one point, Liam's ship was hit. Alarms blared and systems failed. His heart raced as he worked to stabilize the damage. Suddenly, a beam of light connected him to Runa. Through the bond, he felt her steady calm and shared strength. Together, they pushed through the crisis. When the battle ended, the rogue fleet retreated. Victory belonged to the United Forces of Earth and VLARI. Liam stood on the bridge, exhausted but proud. Runa came to his side. "You were brave today," she said. "Not because you fought like a warrior, but because you never gave up." He smiled. "I learned from the best." Word of the victory spread quickly across the galaxy. Stories of the human who bonded with the Velari High Matron inspired many. Liam became a symbol not just of peace, but of hope. One evening, as the stars shone bright above, Runa and Liam sat together in the garden. She looked at him with a soft smile. "Do you still think it was just a joke?" Liam laughed. "Not anymore. I think it was fate." She took his hand gently. "Then let us walk this path together as partners, as friends, as something more." Liam squeezed her hand. "I'm ready." Their bond was unique, born of chance and courage. But it had grown into something strong and real. Liam knew the future held many challenges. But with Runa by his side and the strength of two worlds united, he believed anything was possible. He was no longer just a man from Earth. He was a husband of the stars.